This will temporarily replace the usual broadcast of Amazing Word at that time. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Andrew Cannon. Coming up in the news for this Saturday, July 19, 2025, JUTC reiterates call for members of the public to end the stoning of buses, even as it resumes services on routes affected by stoning incidents. Police launch probe into what appears to be a murder-suicide in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Agriculture sector now benefiting from drought mitigation measures, says Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green. On the international scene, car plows into crowd outside LA nightclub, injuring 30. In sport, Jamaica's men's 4x100 meters relay team ran 37.80 seconds at the London Diamond League to give the country a chance of securing a place at the World Championships. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, has strongly reiterated its call for members of the public to end the stoning of buses. This follows 6 stoning incidents last night, bringing the total number of attacks to 10 since Wednesday, July 16. In a release, the JUTC said the incidents occurred in the vicinity of the power plant in Hunts Bay, the vicinity of Marvelly Avenue near Drewsland, the vicinity of Marvelly Bridge, and Pembroke Hall. The company's managing director, Owen Ellington, says the attacks are not only reckless, but put the lives of its drivers, conductors, and passengers at risk. It was also highlighted by Mr. Ellington that it is disheartening that some of the vehicles that were stoned were newly commissioned buses that are vital assets intended to improve the commuting experience for thousands of Jamaicans daily. Meanwhile, the JUTC is reassuring staff members to remain calm and focused in the performance of their duties. Mr. Ellington says it understands the anxiety these incidents have caused, but is asking the teams not to stay vigilant and committed as they work closely with law enforcement to bring an end to the spate of attacks. He says the company is confident about early success against the malicious cowards. Members of the public with information are encouraged to report incidents by messaging or calling the JUTC on WhatsApp at 876-570-1789 or by contacting the nearest police station. Meanwhile, the JUTC has announced that service has resumed on all routes. This follows an earlier update on X, formerly known as Twitter, in which the company reported the suspension of routes 30, 32, and 47 due to repeated stoning incidents along Washington Boulevard. The resumption was confirmed in a follow-up statement posted on X today. And head of security at the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, Radcliffe Lewis, says the stoning of the company's buses is resulting in significant operational and economic costs to taxpayers.
When the side glasses and the windshield are damaged, it affects our operational activities because these buses have to be withdrawn from service for repairs to be effective to the glass. That is the side glass. We are the side glass, and the only repair that can be done to the side glass is a replacement for the glass by plyboards. But when the windshield are broken, the windshield cannot be replaced by plyboards.
Lewis raised the concern while addressing a recent string of stoning incidents which have damaged at least 4 buses in the company's fleet, including new units. The stoning of JUTC buses have been reported along Washington Boulevard in 3 miles, Seaview Gardens 6 miles, Harborview, Hagley Park Road, Christian Gardens, and Cumberland. The state-owned bus company has partnered with the police to step up patrols along particular routes. Lewis says in some instances the repair bill for one bus runs as much as $1 million.
We have to find foreign exchange, scarce foreign exchange to import those glass, those windshields. Then we have to pay shipping fees. Then workman cost, which sometimes run us into in excess of $1 million. And I don't calculate the bus when the bus is taken out of service. That calculation is not in the over $1 million cost. So it is frightening.
Radcliffe Lewis, head of security at the JUTC. The Kingston Eastern Police have launched a probe into what appears to be a murder-suicide in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Reports are around 11:23 on Friday night, the lifeless body of a woman was found in Cane River. The body was discovered on the ground with blood coming from the face. The police have yet to identify the woman. The body of 50-year-old Rohan Edwards, otherwise called Ralph, was also discovered hanging from a tree in the same yard where the woman was found. Nationwide News understands that Edwards was the father of the woman's child. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, is reiterating its call for members of the JCF to use body-worn cameras during planned operations. On Friday, INDICOM expressed concern at the rise in fatal shootings by security forces. It says up to July 18, 177 people have been killed in police confrontations. During the corresponding period last year, 80 persons were killed by the police. INDICOM says in the 12-month period between July 18, 2024 and 2025, 288 persons have been shot and killed by the security forces. The Commission says no body-worn cameras have been used by the JCF in any of the incidents. INDICOM says the concern has been raised again following the killing of 4 men in separate operations within the past 24 hours. According to INDICOM, the JCF has failed to use body-worn cameras in their planned operations. INDICOM says while it recognizes the dangers faced by the police, accountability is non-negotiable. It added that a recurring theme in shooting incidents is the absence of evidence that weapons were pointed at the police, which caused them to return fire. INDICOM says body-worn cameras are essential for verifying reported incidents of police killings and protecting members of the JCF from false allegations. Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green says drought mitigation efforts in the agriculture sector have already begun. Speaking with Nationwide News, Minister Green says farmers are already benefiting from the trucking of water.
We had already started implemented a mitigation strategy. Having perused the report of the Met Office for the month of May in early June and having heard back from some of our farmers in parts of St. Elizabeth and Manchester, we started rolling out trucking of water to our farmers under a sort of emergency response, which accounts for 100 million of the 150 million. So the program in terms of to help alleviate some of the challenges our farmers face is already in train. I think Mr. Samuda just formally advised the country of it, but we have been trying to work with our farmers to weather this difficult time.
Minister with responsibility for water Matthew Samuda announced on Wednesday at the post-cabinet media briefing that $350 million will be allocated for drought mitigation efforts. He added that $100 million will be allocated for farmers. Minister Green says the ministry has taken precautionary measures in order to be ready to care for farmers in periods of drought.
We're definitely more proactive as a ministry. Each January, we activate our disaster risk management committee that looks at weather-related events, whether it be drought, hurricane, and as such, we play much closer monitoring and try to intervene much earlier. Clearly, the ability to treat a drought still depends on the severity of the drought because there is a capacity in relation to that response. So one of the things that we have done over the past few years is to ensure that the ministry is better able to treat the drought. So, for example, over the past 8 years, we would have added 4 trucks to the fleet of trucks in South St. Elizabeth for the National Irrigation Commission. We have also expanded our irrigation networks in some communities, like in parts of Hounslow, Short Hill, Downs Valley.
Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture. Meanwhile, Minister Green, who is also the Member of Parliament for South West St. Elizabeth, says work has begun in the constituency to accommodate those affected by the drought.
Clearly, from the potable water side, we're very happy that the Minister of Water has announced that allocation for the NWC to directly truck water to residents. We've had to be doing that already for the past few weeks in a number of our areas that depend heavily on rainfall. So we've had to supplement with trucking into those communities. But additionally, what you do find in times of drought is that it puts a strain on the piped water system. So a number of those systems invariably go down. So you do need some supplemental resources to be able to truck. So we're very happy for that allocation. It's something that we will put to good use. As I said, we've already been out there supplying the water, and we will ramp that up until the drought break to provide support for our constituents.
Floyd Green, MP for Southwest St. Elizabeth. Police have identified the two motorcyclists who died in injuries they sustained in a three-vehicle crash in St. Margaret's Bay, Portland on Friday. They are 25-year-old Jamali Morris, a deliveryman of Grosset Road, and 22-year-old O'Shane Maggie, an electrician of Zion Hill, both in Portland. Head of the Portland Police, Deputy Superintendent Ainsley McCarthy, said the two motorcyclists and their pillions were flung from the bikes. DSP McCarthy gave the update to our news centre.
There was a fatal accident along the St. Margaret's Bay Main Road, the vicinity of the Rio Grande River Bridge, where unfortunately we lost two motorcyclists in that accident. The accident happened when a white Toyota Caldina proceeding from Port Antonio to Buff Bay direction, and the motorcyclist proceeding from Buff Bay direction to Port Antonio collided. The drivers of the two motorcycles succumbed. One was pronounced dead at hospital, while the other was transported to hospital and pronounced dead on arrival.
DSP McCarthy says the pillion passengers are being treated in the hospital.
We have two persons who remain in hospital, one in critical condition and one for admitted for observation. We understand that she is doing good, but at the same time the doctors are keeping her for observation purposes. The two female were pillion passengers on the motorcycle, and the driver of the Caldina is also hospitalized. At this stage, we cannot definitively state cause of the accident. Our accident and reconstruction unit came on the scene today. They are reconstructing the accident scene, that we can have a better understanding of what took place. We need to speak also to the driver of the motor vehicle and the two pillion passengers who can shed some more light on the accident.
DSP Ainsley McCarthy, head of the Portland Police. On the international scene, 30 people have been injured after a vehicle drove into a crowd queuing to get into a nightclub in Los Angeles. 7 were critically injured and 6 were in serious condition after the crash in East Hollywood, the LA Fire Department said. A line of mostly women were waiting to enter the Vermont Hollywood music venue when the car struck at 2 o'clock local time on Saturday. The Los Angeles Police Department is investigating the crash as an intentional act because the driver made a U-turn before ramming through the crowd, according to the BBC's US partner, CBS News. And now to sport. Jamaica's men's 4x100 meter relay team ran at 37.80 seconds at the London Diamond League on Saturday to give the country a good chance of securing a place at the World Championships in Tokyo, Japan in September. The quartet in the running order of Rohan Watson to Oblique Seville to Kadrian Golson and Kishane Thompson on anchor won the event ahead of Great Britain's anchored by Jarnell Hughes. The time puts Jamaica in 15th spot, pushing the Netherlands down to 16th with their 37.87 and Nigeria down to 17th with their 38.20. The top 16 countries in the world on August 24 will compete at the World Championships. 10 teams qualified from the World Relays and the other 6 to be added based on time in the world rankings. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. JUTC reiterates call for members of the public to end the stoning of buses even as it resumes services on routes affected by stoning incidents. Police launch probe into what appears to be a murder-suicide in Bull Bay, St. Andrew. Agriculture sector now benefiting from drought mitigation measures, says Minister of Agriculture Floyd Green. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. Use us next at 5 tomorrow afternoon.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Black Stallion, formulated with natural herbs and regular usage, will improve strength, stamina, and performance. Black Stallion now has horny goat weed to give